Everyone gets airtight spacesuit armor, like in the first game. Same with armor mods. Their current outfits can be casual, they also get helmets. These helmets retract. That means no breather masks. Helmets fold out during combat missions or when Shepard draws their gun, and fold down when in non-combat situations. If a complex object like a gun can, then a hermetically sealed helmet can. You don't spend all this time on animators to make somewhat realistic looking faces and cover it up with a helmet, which causes even more problems in social scenes. And you generally don't go into battle in alien atmospheres without insulating your entire body. No planet scanning. Just get rid of it. A properly designed level should have all the power-ups you need. Thermal ammo works on top of Mass Effect 1 guns. Once it runs out, all guns overheat and need to cool down. Weapon mods are back. Cryo, Disruptor, Incendiary, Armor-Piercing, and Warp ammo powers are reduced to a black box that all guns have. One must first purchase or find such base devices and upgrade their rank through weapon research. There is no squad feature for ammo power. A new ammo power would be tranquilizer bullets, because sometimes you just don't want to kill people. Crouching. No Harbinger. He's gone. The real antagonist is the Collector General, who's struggling with their indoctrination to kill and get help from Shepard. Rule number 4. No more loyalty missions. If you're going to use the theme of loyalty, use it properly or not at all. Characters instead will just have backstories and exposition on themselves revealed as the main plot and the protagonist develop. These backstories are in some direct way part of the main plot. No Cerberus logos. Ever. Same with the N7 logo. No Hammerhead. And as a general rule of exposition, let's get more on alien culture. We do get a bit, but it's not along our main journey. It's sort of there, but off to the side. Lair of the Shadow Broker has a few good moments. Let's learn about aliens more by having conversations with them that we need to have. Let's have our translator break down and have very personal, very comical, and odd, non-translated scenes with our own crew. Let's have to hunt down and seek out aliens to talk to and learn about. Oh, on the main plot, of course. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have to say this, but Shepard doesn't die within the first 10 minutes. Let's start with the first problem of the Collectors, that their methods leave no evidence on a planet. When collecting, the Collectors first destroy or jam all satellites and communication devices surrounding a planet. Seeker swarms get turned into nanomachines. They are released into the atmosphere of a planet while the Collector cruiser diverts its entire efforts into having a slow descent and landing position. Having them the size of large birds would not only break windows, but would leave plenty of evidence behind. The swarms can be contracted to other victims through touch if they are not immediately infected. Once all life signs show signs of infection, the Collector cruiser enters the atmosphere. The swarms then control the victim's peripheral nervous system, giving the Collectors full control over their motor skills. Entire colonies of people are completely aware of their surroundings, but cannot act or speak out. This would be a horrifying experience instead of just being frozen. However that even works. Every victim then destroys all digital data of the event from video recordings to communications. They even all walk toward the Collector shuttles, which then go back to the ship. The colonists get into the pods, which are then carried to their holding places on the ship. The Collector cruiser then slowly lifts off. The nanomachines are still present in the colony, but stop functioning quickly after. They are detectable provided one knows what to look for. There is no evidence aside from footprints because there was no physical struggle, and only the colonists just walked off. The Collectors themselves wouldn't come out of their shuttles because that would leave footprints. As for the antagonist, the Collector General is only allowed to say, "Assuming control." No large, taunting sentences that make him sound like Dr. Claw. Number 1. Mission and ship roles. Since one of the supporting themes is a suicide mission, why not make every mission a mini-suicide mission with gameplay roles to fill? Aside from increasing replayability, it allows advantages during combat. For example, instead of Shepard hacking terminals, which is redundant, he can allow his tech expert to take care of the mission-specific hacks, while they defend their position. A handler, or a person who speaks over the radio, depending on their skill set, can give you important info on what's coming up next, how many enemies there are, and so forth. They also determine the kind of enemies you face. And yes, I am totally stealing this idea from Alpha Protocol. The actual suicide mission doesn't have to be that complex, illogical mess. Just put people in the roles you've been training them all game to be in. You have control over developing their skills, so that when you get to the suicide mission, it would be something everyone has been training together to succeed at the entire time. It should be very hard to succeed with no casualties on the suicide mission, which means you must have played nearly perfect, done loads of side quests, and prepared everyone in every way possible. For example, you can assign people as a squad member. Aside from being part of the two-man squad, some enemies might recognize who's in your squad like Samara and run off or even fight more vigorously. We should also be able to play without any squad members. The handler should determine the type of enemies you fight, but this is for another design I'll explain later. Just like the suicide mission, this is simply a second team. You can call on them for fire support and can assign up to 3 other squad mates. This is pretty much a plot-related role. Aside from providing bonuses to medical usage, paramedic escorts can be on standby to carry out injured NPCs away from the battlefield. Aside from the obvious role of hacking terminals and doors, the tech expert's skill will determine how fast these hacks take and the payload of credits you salvage. Scouts provide tactical intel based on the military tech or intel skill they have. They can also help locate different or hidden areas on the map for you to explore to find resources or new paths to take. They also have the option of painting targets and can either provide fire support or call on the Normandy to fire their main guns on an area. For ship roles, this makes the Normandy a living, changing community. It works in context with your squad, who are going on a suicide mission with you and have to work and train together physically by sparring, mentally by researching, and of course socially. Not to mention it doesn't make sense to upgrade a ship that's already brand new, therefore the SR2 isn't finished yet. For instance, you can assign crew to the infirmary, and assigning squadmates here will help them recover from their injuries, and some are forced to stay until healed. This helps repair ship damage and upgrades certain areas of the ship to accommodate new technology. Training improves one's military, biotic, tech, medical, cooking, intel, and research skills. You can also have more than one squadmate to train together, so they can spar, study, practice medicine, make a meal together, etc. Learn about new technology by researching it from various relics, all within the 5 research schools of organics, tech, biotic, weapons, and intelligence. Have people chill out and decrease their stress. They get to cook for everyone. This could increase or decrease stress. Just like the lounge, another place to hang out, only much more public. You also get to eat food from whoever's cooking. It is also possible to get food poisoning, however. Know those bugs that Tim planted on the ship? Well, now you can get rid of them. That creepy, voyeuristic bastard. Make new weapons and armor. When personnel get dangerously stressed out, they need to sleep it off. Aside from matching the themes, it's about gameplay diversity and replayability. The concept of growth and having a living community come together to achieve a physically, emotionally, and socially demanding goal is very important. This would be much more relevant than simply buying fish and having your 10 other characters sitting on the ship and doing nothing. It forces the player to actually prepare their resources and personnel for an impossible mission. The plot would take more than simply picking up random squadmate X and clicking a few upgrade buttons. The player must order their entire ship to work together on repairing and upgrading it. Which brings us to number 2, acquiring supporting characters. Instead of the SR2 being brand new, it's unfinished. Support characters help repair and upgrade it, preparing it for the suicide mission. Some of the side characters you meet in the story have misgivings from their current situation, are lost, or need direction. This allows Shepard to recruit non-combat related specialists to help in repairing, upgrading, and researching new tech. This is a bit of micromanagement in the vein of Metal Gear Solid PSP games, where you acquire a small army, just not by knocking them out and dragging them to your truck and having all of them undergo Stockholm Syndrome. Here's a list of potential supporting characters you might know already. EDI, Kelly Chambers, Security Chief, whatever his face is. Okay, I don't know his name, but he seems pretty important or something, and whenever you're on a mission it should say like, the commanding officer is ashore, Security Chief Bob has the deck. Vitor, Ken, Leavael Nar Ulne, Lieutenant Forzen Vasidena, this other Aquarian, the gambling debt one, Matriarch Atheda, who upgrades the lounge into a bar, Elizabeth Bainham, Ranathanoptis, and yes, Conrad Werner. I don't know, maybe he's good at cooking or something. If you're going to have a mascot happy-go-lucky kind of guy, well, may as well be him. For example, Kelly would be a special support character who would naturally decrease the stress of whomever she's paired with and make that person more efficient, but by herself she probably wouldn't be very helpful repairing the ship and might be pretty lonely. The idea of building a team of more than just combat squad mates, but having them be part of a living community of actual people working and spending time together in whatever way they can help.